All right, so I was asked to do a post about my strategy, if you want, or my rationale behind ordering free rune removal. So instead of doing a post, I'm going to do a video. It's just going to be faster. So basically, I'm old school. I do a Excel spreadsheet first, and then I use SW parser and rune optimizer. So basically, you can see column A. I list all my 6-star monsters and those which I intend probably to six next, like the next 2 or 3 potential monsters. I build tier lists of must be OP, standard teams, niche uses, nice to have, and what the fuck ever. Um, at first, I don't know exactly which monsters are going to go where, but I have a good idea. So then I just proceed to put color codes and words of where I'm going to use these monsters for sure. Maybe some specific places, for instance, uh, Delphoy is used in one single level of TOA hard um, for the double OGs bosses. So just in case, right? And then I'll put sometimes, or yeah, maybe in if I want to try something. Um, so once this is done, it is quite easy to put them in order of priority. So everything that has a lot of green, of course, is going to be in my must be OP section. And then as I go down, it gets very yellow. All right, so at that point, I have a pretty good idea of the order, and I'm still going to fine tune it um, by having a few situations priority. So you can see kind of easily here that I have focused on PvP first last month for the first 5, 6, 8, whatever monsters or so. And then I moved to R5 because I felt like my R5 was a bit inconsistent sometimes and a bit too slow, so I wanted to put focus on it. And then Necro, because as you know, you need some good speed tuning and stuff for Necro for it to work. And then moving down with DB10 and GB10 much later, TOA hard monsters because they don't need great runes, they just need good synergy. And then a bunch of toys and whatnot later down the road. So with that, I have my whole list of priorities in order. Then what I'm going to do is um, set some specific requirements slash reminders for myself because for those who use Rune Optimizer, you know this can be a long, like 6 hours process or something to get all your shit together. So yeah, I put some reminders for myself. So for instance, Sierra needs to be slightly slower than Taurus. Taurus needs to be obviously slightly faster than Sierra, but slower than attack buffers. Um, Brandia needed to be the slowest of all R5, etc., etc. Then I put some runes requirements. So Sierra needed to be violent for sure. Triton despair for sure. Delphoy I wanted the violent and will, etc., etc. And then I'm going to put stats requirement. So Sierra I wanted at least 70% accuracy. Brandia 80% crit rate, etc. Um, efficient HP. So if you use Rune Optimizer, you know there's such a tool, which basically is it kind of translates your defense into HP. So like my Sierra as like what I think 18,000 HP and 1,000 accuracy, 1,000 def. So this translates into roughly 75,000 HP, zero def. This is very useful for R5, where you want your front line to be. I don't remember the number exactly, but I think my front line is maybe somewhere between 180,000 and 210 um, efficient HP, and then backline needs to be at the very least 75. So anyway, put the requirement there. And once this is done, well, the fun just gets started. So you do SW parser, and then you use Rune Optimizer, and you start doing your builds. The last month I re-runed every single of my monsters. This month there's at least a dozen which I'm not going to touch whatsoever. So what you do in Rune Optimizer is you just kind of unlock every single rune for everyone, and then you go lock runes only for the monsters you really don't want to touch this month, and then you start doing your builds without using locked runes on all other monsters. And then I put final build, which are the rune numbers. The reason why I do this is maybe it's me that is not using Rune Optimizer right, but every single time I'm going to put one rune on multiple monsters, and it's going to be a shit show, right, if you don't spot it early. Reason being, let's say I have a rune on Colleen, and then I did a build for Delphoy earlier, and I've taken Colleen's rune. When I'm going to be at Colleen, even though I check the box that says don't use a lock rune, even if it was on Colleen before, etc., it's still going to suggest that rune in Colleen's build, and I might not spot it myself, and it's going to piss me off. So when I have the final build, I put the rune ID in this Excel chart, and then I did a quick like data validation rule that will just highlight if a number already exists. So I don't know if I'll be able to do it here. Let me just try. Okay, so it's not showing, but see there's 420 twice. So in my normal Excel, on my desktop version, it actually would yeah, whatever. Oh my god. Just okay. Yeah, so in my Excel version, it would highlight that the cell is duplicate. So I would then just put in Rune Optimizer to recreate builds, but not to use this specific rune, just to make sure things are okay. And I tend to put the final speed. You can't see it very well, but the last column Y, I put final speed for my monsters. Mind you, I should take leader spill and towers into consideration. I don't, but I know how to calculate and make sure I don't fuck it up. But yeah, I put my final speeds just so that when I arrive at a monster lower down in the list and I have to speed tune it with someone else, I easily can know what was the speed of the monster I wanted to tune it with. That's it. And then I guess I'll take a moment to go back on my previous comments. So when you speed tune your stuff, pay attention because speed leader skills and tower buffs and whatnot influence the base speed of a monster. So if you want, I don't remember the base speed of everyone, right? But I think, for instance, that Sierra is a tad faster than Taurus. So if I put Sierra one speed lower than Taurus with all the speed buffs, she may end up being one speed faster than him, and it fucks up my combo. So you might want to actually like build the final speed, including the tower buffs and whatnot. But yeah, so that's it. So if I were to recap, I'd say build a priority list based on where you want to improve first and what are teams that are priority that you cannot fuck it up, like R5, um, TOA hard, and V10 are the usual suspects that you don't want to fuck up. And obviously PvP. And then just build your requirements and be diligent in what you're doing. You should be fine. And then the bad thing about my way of doing things is, well, as I showed you earlier, like stuff like DB10 and GB10, I tend not to prioritize. So I probably, for instance, could do a consistent 50, 60 seconds GB10 and a consistent 75, 90 seconds DB10, but since they are never my priority, I tend to do like 1 minute and 30 in giants and 2 minutes in dragons and whatever, right? Yeah, but if you want to prioritize them first because you really want to grind runes this month and you want your teams to be fast, well, by all means, go ahead. So that's it. Cheers.